Hello and welcome to the Beatport podcast. And today we are in conversation with Sébastien Léger. He came into the Beatport offices to talk about his view on music making, launching his new label Lost Miracle Records, and selling out tour dates across the globe. A producer and DJ with a career that spans over 2 decades, he is called an electronic tastemaker for good reason. Sébastien is funny and a blunt guy who was really good fun to interview. I'm your host, Tiger Light. Enjoy. Beatport podcast.
There's no topic I don't want to talk about.
Okay, okay.
You can be pretty hardcore, honestly.
So how do you feel about President Trump then?
I have nothing against him.
Would you like to go out for a cup of coffee with him?
I'd love to, honestly. He looks like a very funny man.
That would actually be quite an interesting coffee.
You know, I've never voted in my life. Like never.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't care if you left, right, extreme this, or I don't give a shit totally, as long as they don't interfere in my music process, you know, I don't care.
Is that because you don't ever look at politics?
I do like politics, for real. I watch a lot of politics, especially the French one, but even though I don't live in France, but I always watch the politics stuff. But still, I don't vote, and I will not vote ever. I know it's weird, right? I just like it. It seems like it's a show that you look at on TV, and it's like a reality show, but in the real life, you know. So it's very entertaining.
But why don't you want to have your voice heard?
On my level, I just think it won't really matter. Really, you know, I'm just an artist, and I do believe that artists should never be involved in politics anyway. I do believe that they should not talk politics like openly on the internet or Twitter or social media. I don't think this is what we should do. We should just do like what we're supposed to, make music and, you know, have fun and just sell dreams to people, you know, like rather than, hey, fuck Trump, or I don't know, this guy from, I don't know, it's just like, you know, then half of the people who vote against what you say will hate you out of nowhere, you know, I didn't know you were like for Trump or not. So I don't like you anymore. Stuff like that, you know.
So you think that NWA should have written like "fuck the donuts"?
Yeah, whatever. You know, for me, it's just I don't care. Actually, I live in Portugal now, and I don't even know who's in charge.
So you were in Amsterdam for 11 years.
I used to be yeah, correct.
And you've just moved now.
Yeah. And
what made you go there?
Weather, nice weather. Tax. Well, yeah, I mean, let's be honest. They smashed me in Holland for too long, so I've done my share. The only time I will eventually vote one day if someone raises the taxes, I will just go and, hey, that's it, man. We're done here with taxes, you know. It's true. So, weather is great, and I had enough. I love Amsterdam. I really love Amsterdam, but I had enough. I've been there for long. Weather really bad there. It rains a lot, you know, like food is horrible. I just had my time there. So.
But you've moved a lot in your life, and from what I read, you moved to Australia when you were a child.
Yeah. When I was a child, I lived in New Caledonia, which is a small French island, 2 hours away from Sydney in Australia. So I lived there 4 years, and then I moved back to France. And when I think I moved about 30 times easily in my life. No joke. Right.
And did you go over there because your parents were touring?
Yeah. My mom was with her boyfriend at this time, and she moved there with her boyfriend. So as a kid, you follow your mom or your dad. So I moved to my mom for 4 years.
And what kind of musician was she, or is she?
She's still there. She's a cello player, and actually she's the best
in the world.
In
your eyes.
No, not in my eyes, for real. She doesn't play anymore because she retired. But when she studied cello with my dad, because my dad also was a musician, so they were both at the Paris Conservatoire, which is school, the highest school you can get in terms of music. And she won the first prize of theory and first prize of her instrument of her year. But also she was 14 years old. She was already a teacher. She was the best. And my dad was also the best in his instrument.
What did he play?
Clarinet.
And was he also 14?
No. My dad met my mom. She was 14. He was 18. But anyway, back then he was fine, you know. But anyway, both were like first prize of theory, first prize of their instrument.
Wow.
Of Paris, super highest school, I forget the name. Conservatoire National Supérieur de Paris.
And you play drums and piano?
I used to play drums, yeah, and piano. Piano, I when I was little, very little, so obviously I forgot everything. And drums, I played also. I was like, I don't know, 10 years old. I wasn't that good, honestly. I wasn't a very good musician. At least, as an instrumentist, I wasn't very good. But my ears been trained since I literally was born, because my parents were like,
So did they do ear training exercises with you?
Yeah. I was forced to play piano and to learn all the theory and all that, which I hated. As a kid, you want to play, outside or play video games or whatever. And no, I was forced to learn all that, and I think that's why I didn't like it, because I was forced. So, but still, I got used to play and to learn all the things. So it really helps for sure.
And they were focused on classical music?
Yeah, absolutely. The music I liked as a kid was more like funk, disco, and Michael Jackson. And they used to call it, it's music for monkey people, what is bad music? Like, no, I like it, and but eventually they liked it. Eventually, after like brainwashing them,
They came round to the idea.
Yeah.
So you were 15 when you had your first residency as a DJ.
Yes.
So when did you get your first decks?
My first residency was in a gay club in France. I got the residency because back then my girlfriend, her brother was gay. And so he used to go to that club, and he knew I was a bedroom DJ. I was 14, 15, and I was a bedroom DJ. And I gave him tapes, of me playing in my bedrooms. And he gave it to the owner of the club, liked the tape, and eventually needed a replacement for the residents, And one day I had an appointment, and I showed up with my little suitcase with 20 vinyls, at the door, and like, who are you? Like, I was 15, you're not even allowed to go to a club at this age and to work. But I was there already, so like, okay, well, and I tried, and I just played like 1 hour when it was totally empty. It was an absolute disaster because I had the different equipment at home. By the way, they had the techniques, the original techniques, the real turntable, and at home I had like a really low-cost copy. So I was like totally, but I got it. So eventually I started to do the warm-ups, and then when the resident left on holiday or whatever, I do the whole night.
Wow! So even though you were clanging your way through your audition, you got that spot.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
And what kind of music were you playing in that club?
What I like to play as a DJ, but what I had to play was something else. What I liked to play was, back then, was UK garage, vocal, super gay actually, like Frankie Knuckles, David Morales, Masters at Work. I don't even remember, but the Roger Sanchez, that time of New York and UK garage vocals that I really loved. But you can play that in a gay club, it was fine, but you couldn't play only that. I had to play disco, like Gloria Gaynor, and like super gay disco, not like super cool South Soul disco, like super gay commercial YMCA Village People, stuff like that.
Did you do the dance moves?
I had even to sing on the mic, I had to sing all that shit on the mic, so I had to play stuff like that, a little bit of R&B and a little bit of dance, Euro dance, but super cool, what's called handbag, I think back then, handbag. So I had to play like a lot of cheesy stuff, but I was totally allowed to play my own things as well from time to time, so and it was a great experience,
So your own thing was that then soul and funk?
Yeah, soul, funk, disco.
Yeah.
Any black music in general, except hip hop. I was not into a hip hop fan, but yeah, funk, disco, and house music, like house in a kind of wide brand, but especially back then, like vocal and I know.
And with the hip hop thing, just going back to what you were saying at the start about the politics, was it because there's just too much lyrics, too angry, too much of a message, or?
Yeah, the message, the attitude, especially in France, it became like a lot of violence, and it was not my thing. I didn't like the vibe of it. It was just all whatever they say. It comes to politics, effectively. I just didn't like the message and the people in there. I know there's some good hip hop right there, but. I just never the whole thing just drive me crazy. Like, just why don't you be like peaceful, man? Send a peaceful message. But the music in general, the background music was good, not anymore I think, but was good. But just the message and all that was just not nice. Yeah.
an MPC.
Yeah, how do you know all this? It's crazy.
If I do my job.
This is the very first time someone asked me this question. They know, like, okay, I got my MPC, yeah? In 97, you know what? I bought that thing, and I didn't even know what it was really, actually, in fact. I just saw in a magazine, there were MPC 2000, and it says music production, whatever, I can't remember exactly what it was, the message. I bought that. But without really knowing what I would do with it. I didn't know it would be a sequencer because I didn't even know what was a sequencer. You know, a sampler, I knew what was a sampler, but that was it. So I bought that and I made my first tracks. Actually, the first day I got it. Horrible tracks.
Do you still have them?
No, I don't have it anymore. I think I used some really bad disco sample.
So even though you weren't really feeling the disco in the club, you were sampling from disco?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, how come you were sampling from that and not from the UK garage that you were playing?
But because it's already made, you know, and it's the time where 97, you have to put this back then. 97, 98, it was a peak time of French touch, which was typically a disco sample based music, like filter, sample, and a beat. Pretty much that was it. So I loved that because I was Chicago house, French house. It was a bit of a mixture of both. So that was my main thing. I wanted to do disco house. You know? So this is what I did.
So how did you go then from cutting up disco samples to getting a release?
Yeah, but I knew one guy was a resident of the Queen Club in Paris because I used to live in Paris back then. So I knew that guy, which I sent my few demos, and he loved it. But that was 6 months after I got my MPC. I was training, and but making music every day for like 10 hours. Wake up, make music all day, and then sleep, and so on. So I finally got like a decent tracks with a lot of known samples like Chic or Sister Sledge or something like really obvious, you know. But I got signed, and that was my first vinyl. Yeah, but that's not the most important thing, actually. I think the most important thing is that my very first vinyl, that one, I got the white label. Here's the story. Here we go. I got that white label. One day I went to a club in Paris. It's called Gibus, or we used to call Gibus. I wanted to give that my very first white label vinyl to Paul Johnson. Because Paul Johnson was my favorite producer, Chicago house DJ. He was playing, you know, he's on a wheelchair. And I was planning to go to give my first vinyl, and he didn't show up. He was not in the club, like he wasn't here. So like with my vinyl, oh, damn, what am I gonna do? With who I'm gonna give my vinyl? And that same night there was Paul. Because it was a Paul night, Paul Johnson, Paul something, and Paul Diomen Christo, which is the brother of Guy Manuel from Daft Punk, which he was also making music. So I gave it to Paul because I also liked him. Hey, well, look, this is my new music and stuff. And the next day, so he listened to the tracks and loved them and sent it to a friend of his, a little bit complicated. But anyway, that friend had a really hot label back then, was called Riviera and Blackjack. They heard my vinyl and said, we want to sign you. Can you send us more demo? And this is because of, thank you, Paul Johnson, for not showing up, because I gave my vinyl to the right guy at the right moment. We gave it to the right guy. It's just like, you know, and thank you, Paul. You know, yeah, I didn't show up. So I gave the vinyl to the right guy at that night. And that my career just blew up instantly because I released on that super hot label back then.
Wow. So that was within a year and a half of you having the MPC?
Yeah. Actually, no. Like a 6 months time, everything just made sense. Everything went together.
And you didn't have to work or go to school at that point? Or?
But I quit school at 15.
And your parents, how did they feel
didn't
about
know.
that? They didn't know?
No, I didn't know. My dad, I was living with my dad, and he was too busy with his concert. He was working in Paris, and he was traveling a little bit everywhere. So whenever he was not there, I was not going to school. Yeah, I know. I was doing stupid things, but...
But you spent your time making music?
Oh, all day long. Mixing, making music, that was just like the only thing, like, that's it. All day long.
And I read that you said that you use the same kick drum on all of your tracks except 4.
Actually, yeah, except, well, yes. The last 10 years, I have the same kick drums.
So this kick drum, where is it from? How did you make it? Is it many layers? What processing did you do? What's your secret?
I stole it from someone else, a famous German duo producers, from their EP like 10 years ago, something. I sampled it, that's it. And it became my kick. Because, obviously it's their kick. But I processed it because their kick was lacking a lot of frequencies that, so if you listen to that track, you wouldn't even tell it's their kick. But anyway, I won't tell who it is. So.
Oh, can you give us a clue?
There are 2.
There's 2.
2 Germans.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is where I got my kick, and it just sounds... that's the thing. Every time I try to change kick, it doesn't sound right. It just doesn't work at all. Like it's just never right.
Is that because you've got so used to hearing that kick, and especially like you're hearing it, you're DJing, you're hearing it in the studio?
Yeah, I guess there's this process for sure, But it just sounds just right for every track I make. It's that kick. It's that kick. That's it. So it's very simple. I just change kick for the same track. It's a totally different track. I just put my kick. And yeah, that's it. I can't change it. I think I will never change it. It's kind of weird, but...
And also I read that you don't listen to music outside of when you look for promos or when you're DJing yourself.
Yeah.
Is that because, your gigging schedule is pretty crazy?
Yes.
Is that because you need rest time or...?
No. It's sad. It's really sad. I have no interest. I don't know. It's just... if I would listen to some music, it would be, of course, like the stuff that I really liked when I was a kid. So Michael Jackson or Stevie Wonder or stuff like that. But even that, I don't even, because I've heard it so many times. But no, I just don't. It's not about resting, or there's nothing that really appeals me to, like right now these days, except the music that we make or play. But even that, I won't listen to it at all because I make the tracks, I play them. Whenever I'm in a taxi, you say, you want to listen to some music? Like, no, silence, because I just don't want to have there's too much music. So it kind of like pushed me away to listen to some music because there's so much music that in the end I sort of gave up in a way.
So when you're cooking, for example?
I don't cook.
Or when you're folding your clothes or doing something at home and you want something on, do you have podcasts on? Or
no.
Do you have anything?
Nothing.
Just your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you watch films?
Actually, I don't. I know.
Do you go to galleries?
No.
Where does your cultural input come from? Apart from obviously you're going to all these amazing events the whole time that you're playing at.
Well, there's 2 things. These days, when I don't make music, is either I'm traveling or I'm sleeping, or I'm doing interview like right now. And all these influences, I don't know. I think it's a lot of the childhood more than anything. It's not about what's happening today. And my influences is I like stuff really warm, the warm music. Disco funk, I think, is warmer than rock and roll, for example, even though I can definitely listen to some rock. Why not? Not too much, but why not? When I was a kid, I used to play a lot of video games, the early 16 bits video games, the good time. And I was really absolutely obsessed with super colorful games that had a very colorful soundtrack. And one of my favorite games was called Prince of Persia. It's happening in the Middle East, and the music is very Middle Eastern. I love it. I try to put not too much my music, but I put it sometimes. But I love this thing, and everything I hear I just see these like yellow, orange, warm colors, and it translates in my music in a way like I don't know. Anyway. So I just like warm music and funky, groovy, or anything that's have a mysterious vibe as well.
music.
Yeah, how do you know that? Seriously, I do see colors when I hear tracks.
So what different genres have different colors, or is it different instruments or
It's
layers?
the overall vibe
Okay.
of the track, and even myself when I make music. How can I describe it? Because it's kind of weird that you see colors. Like when I make a track, if the colors in my head are not warm, so it's like mostly, let's say, black or brown or gray, like sad colors, then I won't like the track, because in my head it's gonna be a dark vibe track, and I won't like it because I don't really like dark stuff or aggressive stuff. I'd rather have something happy and warm, and and that's why I see, I don't know, it's weird, right? It's just like I see colors in tracks, like whatever is like colorful, or you know what I mean by colorful track? Yes. Can you picture that or not at all?
I write music too, but I don't see colours when I write, but I think it's amazing. Basses would feel more brown and...
For example, techno for me is all black.
Yeah.
Maybe because they all wear dress black.
Dress code.
But it's really black and all dark, and if you listen to some house music, then it's suddenly out of nowhere you see all the colors from the club, the lights, the pink, red, yellow, blue, happy colors, So it translates in my music. When I work on Ableton, for example, all my tracks are, they all have a color. And if you look at, it looks like the gay pride flag, my project, it literally looks like a gay pride flag. It's all super colorful, so I see colors. Has to be warm.
So with your new release, which is coming out on your new label, Lost Miracle Records, Forbidden Garden, that definitely has some of these Middle Eastern influences you were talking
absolutely.
about. What colour was that in
your
your mind?
That was orange, ochre. Is ochre color?
Yes, I just can't remember which one.
I think it's a yellow, gold. But that's also the colors you see in these countries. It's a lot of sand. It's a lot of sandy colors, like orangish. The sun is yellow, it's stuff like that. So it's a lot of yellow, a little bit of dark green because of the oasis, the plants. That's crazy. So yeah, it was like really yellow, orange, ochre colors. I don't know.
And there's an instrument at the beginning of that track.
Yeah.
Which instrument is it?
It's typical. I don't know which. I don't want to say stupid thing. It's a sort of really long clarinet that sounds really typical. So I sampled that from a YouTube video somewhere, and then I layered it with a synth. So it's kind of like phasing weirdish together. But it's a sample. Of course, I didn't play that well. I wouldn't tell you where it's coming from. I totally got it like randomly. That's a lot of thing. That's the thing I do a lot. Is I go on YouTube for hours and look for random samples or vocals or stuff like that. I got a track lately that was very successful actually on Beatport. It went number 1, and everybody asked me how did I do it. Well, I'm not gonna tell you, but it's a vocal I got on YouTube. But absolutely randomly out of nowhere I found it. So this is.
Do you clear the samples?
No, because it's totally like unrecognizable. There's like 50 views. No, I don't clear the sample. No. I mean, it's not like Stevie Wonder sample. I just sample Rihanna and then, hey, here's my new track. It's totally like sometimes taken out of a concert, which is 2 hours long. It's just like 5 seconds. Man, nobody does that anymore. Yeah, no, but it's like something that nobody will ever find unless absolute like a miracle. But
so with Scardy, which is the lead track from the EP, is that how you say it, Scardy?
Yeah, Scardy. It's my dog.
Oh, really? That's so cool.
I adopted that dog. Yeah.
What kind of dog?
It's a husky. I have 3 dogs. I have Scardy, which is a husky, and before having her, I had 2 Doberman, which I still have, but I have 2 Doberman.
And they get on okay with the new one?
All good.
Cool.
Happy dogs. Very friendly.
And the husky's all right with the heat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Scardy.
So Scardy, the dog, and also the track. So you made that main melody riff on your modular setup.
Yeah.
So is that also like about wanting... that you've only got one go at it, and then you've got to record it in that moment. And
yes, that's how I used to. I use that process a lot because I have a big modular system at home, sometimes I just have fun jamming on it without the computer or nothing, just like having the loops. And then when I have something that I kind of like, then I record the whole jam for like 10, 15 minutes. And then I have a structure already of a melody that I can work around, like a remix, you know, you have some parts and then you work around it. But I kind of do my own remix because I made my own parts with this. And then I have a structure, like a melody, or sometimes just one line, or sometimes a full thing, and I can work around it in Ableton and then make the track. So that's how I did Scardy. I had the scenes that you hear at the beginning is completely made per accident. Actually, I love that, working with accidents. You know, you work with Modular, it's completely random, and you never know what you're gonna end up with. And once you switch it off, it's gone forever, so you better record it.
How many individual modular pieces do you have?
There must be a few hundreds. No, not a few hundred, but at least 100 modules, and it's massive. It's like, I don't know how you say it in centimeters, but it's big. You can see it on my Instagram.
Wow, you got it insured?
No, good idea.
Because they're not cheap, like those individual bits.
My old system costs about 40,000 euros, so yeah, it's not cheap. Yeah, definitely not cheap.
You only write at home and not on the road.
Impossible.
You're using that gear. So what's your process when you go in and you start writing? Do you have a routine?
Well, first of all, my kick drum is already there. It's a good start.
YouTube's there.
Yeah. So either I'm gonna work on the modular. Sometimes I just make music on the modular only, not even like planning to do anything with it, just having fun. Because at the end of the day, I like to have fun making music, rather than sitting there and just like, okay, let's try to make the new hit or something. So no, I don't have a specific process. Sometimes I just start with drums, and sometimes I start with melody. And I basically have nothing in my head, like zero idea or zero melody. I'm not like the kind of, I have that melody, I'm going to try to replicate it. That's not going to happen. So it's just a flow thing. It just happened.
How often do you write?
Every time I'm with Roy Rosenfeld, my friend, in here today, and he can say I'm a machine. I can every day, pretty much every day, you know, like especially because I'm on tour, and when I'm on tour, I cannot make music. So the only thing I want to be is in the studio when I'm home. Like, I'm obsessed with it, like literally.
So then you're in every day, like, and do you have a set time, like from 10 till 5, or just when you feel?
I have a set time because I have a family life, which means wife and dogs. So the dogs need to go out at that time, and they need to be fed at that time. But a part of that, when it's not the dog time, it's my time, you know. So it's pretty much afternoon. I love to work at night too. Way better, more not productive, but have more imagination and creativity at night than during the day. I focus during the day more on the technical mixing, boring arrangement thing, but the creation is all happening at night.
And do you have your studio in your house?
Yeah, always has been in my house or apartment or wherever I lived. I cannot have my studio rented in a place and I go there and sit there. It's just impossible. I need to be, there right away, And if I'm sick of it after 1 hour, then I don't have to stay there. I can just go play with the dogs or something. So yeah, it's in my house.
Right now, tonight you're playing at Watergate. Tomorrow you're going to be in Greece.
Yes.
For All Day I Dream.
Yeah.
Lee Burridge.
Yeah.
Umbrella Imprint. And then you're going to go to Chicago and Toronto on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's quite full on. Like, how do you like?
I don't know. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. People have no idea when you travel. They think, like Roy was saying that earlier, they think that between gigs we're in a pool, you know? We're not in a fucking pool. We're like in planes, waiting for drivers, and well, you know that, you know, it's nothing new here, but we're not having so much fun between gigs at all.
But you've been doing this for 20 years and you're still here, and your sound's evolving all the time,
yeah,
and you're evolving. So that means your energy reserves are not used up. So how do you keep that going?
Well, first of all, I don't drink. I don't take drugs.
That's going to really help.
I guess that helps.
Yeah.
I've never been drunk in my life.
Wow.
I never took drugs in my life. I used to smoke, but I quit cigarettes, so that's out. Food, food is whenever I can eat, whatever you can find at that time, or you're hungry, you know, like running into, you know, a horrible sandwich or sometimes a good meal. But, you know, I prefer to sleep than having a breakfast, for example, you know. So I always skip breakfast. I just like sleep. There's no. I don't do sports really. You know, I just. I don't know. I'm 40 years old. It's not that old. So there's no secret to stay there. You know, stay alive. I don't have any secret. Some people take drugs to stay alive, but I don't know how it's gonna last.
Yeah.
But everybody's different, huh? You know. Some people have been taking a lot of drugs for so many years, and you can see them still behind the decks, and you're like, how this guy is still alive?
It's interesting that you started DJing at 15, and obviously, like, you must have been around a lot of drugs in the last 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
been offered all kinds.
Yeah, how come you weren't interested or intrigued?
Well, first of all, I'm scared of it. Anything that makes me feel dizzy or out of myself or feel weird, you know, it's not for me. Although I'm going to have a panic attack, and I had a bad experience one day with a joint because I tried a joint, like, you know, I hated it, and I had a really bad experience. Almost, I felt I would die, literally. It was a really bad trip, so, no, it's not for me. And I don't like the taste of alcohol either. You know, the effect, forget about it. So, I don't know, it's just not my thing, really. When I started, I was 15, but I wanted to be a DJ and be in the music. That was it. That was really it. And it's still, that was it. That's it. For me, it's the music only. It's not the lifestyle. People get fucked up, you know. Oh man, drugs. You see comments on YouTube. Oh, that track is so good on the MDMA. Like, I can't tell, man. I've never tried, but I believe you, you know. But this is not my thing, you know.
How did you hook up with Lee Burridge?
He contacted me because I did a track in 2017. I did a track that he loved, and then he contacted me, which I never met him before, and we never spoke before. And he sent me an email. I don't even know how I got my email. And then he said, "Oh, I love your track, blah blah. Thank you very much." All right, so I was like, cool. But the thing at that time, I was talking with my wife. I said, I really love all Daydream parties. Looks so nice, and I would like to wouldn't mind to have an EP with all Daydream. But I never thought about sending music because I thought they would be like, one of these super hot labels that's usually super arrogant and you cannot approach them, So I was like, no, forget it. They're not even gonna check my music, And then two days later, he sent me that email. I was like, well, okay, well, I'm gonna send you some music then. And then, I sent him some music, and then eventually got signed.
And then the EP came out in August last year.
January last year, and then August after, also like 2 EPs in 1 year.
Now you've got these dates, so how many gigs have you got lined up with them?
I think this year it's about 10. Last year was 5. But we are few DJs, of course, we take turns. So Roy is one of them, I'm one of them. They have the Russian out there, there's Yoko is there. We take turns, it's kind of fun. We also play, sometimes I open, sometimes I close, so it's like cool. Yeah.
I went to the pool party that he put on last Pride, and he gave me a fan.
Oh yeah?
Yes, I've been using it all year.
Yeah.
They're really beautiful the way that
I love it. It's exactly the kind of party that I love.
Yeah.
It's colorful. Again,
colorful
here we
and
go.
Joyful.
Joyful, I don't know, there's a nice vibe. It's really like, you feel comfortable. It's the music is just nice and it's groovy. There's a little bit of clubby side and a little bit of groovy stuff. And it's not aggressive. I don't know. It's really warm. I'm not a hippie guy. I'm not like totally a hippie guy doing some yoga and sniffing some incense all day long. But I just love it. Like I just love the vibe. It's just like super nice. It's warm. It's friendly. That's what I like.
And he smiles all the time.
He smiles all the time. He's a lovely guy. So how can you not be in a happy mood? This is what it means to me. Like I don't want to be in a warehouse super dark with like bang 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 music. Like oh my god, you literally raped by super hard. Not my thing. And I don't take drugs, so forget it. I don't see the point.
But do you ever say that you don't want to play certain places because of that?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, right. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, some places, you're going to love it. It's a warehouse. Forget it. Not interested. I don't want to. Sometimes I just show up and I don't know. And then, fucking black warehouse. And when I'm going to play here, my sound is just not going to fit because it's way too happy in a way. Or sometimes I try to adjust and make something more moody because moody can be good too if it's done the right way. But like happy club. Happy doesn't mean commercial or cheesy. I think it's very important because when you say, I love house, people always think, I don't know, some cheesy vocal, whatever. No, it's not necessarily happy means just like overall it's a vibe, like it's a statement somehow rather than, I don't know, but you can be happy on techno, of course, if that makes you happy.
And I read that you said that if somebody wanted to send you in something for the new label, Lost Miracle Records, that they needed to combine groove, soul, warmth, timelessness, fun and surprises, and then you might consider to have a look at it.
Yeah.
What makes something timeless for you? What makes something fun? What is a surprise on a record for you?
It's something when you hear it, you will remember it when it's finished. 10 minutes, an hour, or the next day, you still remember the melody. It's so catchy, and catchy again doesn't mean commercial. You can have like really nice melody or catchy groove that sits stuck in your head. So this is, in a way, it's like timeless, like it can turn into a timeless thing because people will remember that track because of that line, that lead, that vocal or that melody that you've been using. You can sing it, I love that track that does like that, whatever. When you say like, I love that techno track that does like, yeah, okay, which one is it? It's just a beat. Or that tech house track with that drum. People come to me in a club. You have that track, like, I don't know what is that. Sing the real melody. I can't tell you. So for me, if I want to sign something, it has to have that thing that will be instantly like remarkable, that stands out from the rest. Like the sound you use also is very important. If you use like a generic sound that we heard already a billion times, maybe not, but if you hear something like, oh wow, that sounds like interesting. It's difficult to have something you never heard before these days because everything has been done pretty much, but you can always find a nice combination of melodies and sound design that's going to stand out from the rest, because there's millions of tracks every day, so you need to stand out, like really. So the only way to stand out and get signed by me is to stand out and send me something that actually like, okay, this is like different and surprising, you know? Yeah, so that's, I think, yeah, you have to surprise people these days.
And also you said that it doesn't matter if it's not mastered and mixed, like you can hear, you'd rather have something really special that you can give them A&R
Yeah,
work.
because the mix down and stuff can be always fixed in a way, like you can tell, okay, can you do this like more like this or that? Of course, if it's really bad, then, you know, the idea is great, but the mix is so bad that, you know, like there's so much work on it and forget it. But the production has to be good, but it doesn't need to be perfect, but the idea has to be spot on, like for sure. The idea is like number one, always.
Have you already been giving people detailed feedback?
I do send detailed feedback when the thing is kind of good, which is very rare, to be honest. I receive already, it's just the first release, I received about 100 demo already after not even a month. And they were like, oh, we love the label. It's like, can you love the label? It's just, there's just one release, you know? So thank you. But they send me stuff that absolutely have no whatsoever connection with my sound or the label. The label I can understand because it's just one release, so you maybe don't really know where I'm going. But my sound as an artist or what I play, it's easy to find out what I like. So why would you send me that really straight, super cold, tech house, progressive, or whatever you name it, stuff that I will not play anywhere at the first as a DJ, so I will not release it for my label, you know. So I see a lot of stuff, but it's lots of really poorly produced, unfortunately. Lots of stuff that sounds really amateurish. And I mean, if you're a successful label, you must receive like hundreds of demos per week, and to deal with that must be insane, like, because what I receive already is just like, wow.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because you had a team behind Mistakes Music so that you could focus on your own work.
Yeah, back
so
then.
do you now have a team?
Absolutely, yeah. Now we have it's all solid team. I have a solid management, label manager who's taking care of very successful label as well. Different style, but very successful label. So you know what he's doing. Management. Well, the management doesn't interfere in my process, either making music or the way I see the label going, because I told them, you need to trust me on that, because this is what I do. You know what you do, you know how to make things to happen, but when it comes to the creativity, you just don't interfere. So, but yeah, it helps. I cannot do with the, I don't know, Beatport upload, stuff like that. I don't want to do it. So yeah.
Do you have anyone sifting through the demos for you, or are you listening to all the demos?
No, I do everything by myself. I don't want anybody to interfere into like my Facebook, my Instagram, my listening to promos or demos. It's too important. It's me. It's my. No, I don't want anybody who has to do with. No. Impossible.
And coming up, you've got some sold out gigs in South America coming up.
It's insane.
Where are you playing in South America?
Lately, I've been focusing a lot with Argentina, Brazil. I've been to Chile. Every show lately has been like sold out to a point where like people are complaining there's no room or tickets, and like, well, sorry for being successful, you know. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, the last few years I've been to South America. It was just like, meh, don't want to really go there ever again.
Why?
Don't know. I didn't understand the vibe, and it's too far away, so I didn't have like good gigs. So every time you have to travel this far for average gigs, it's like, I'd rather stay home, really. Like, kind of annoying. I should be happy to go to gigs, but if the gigs are not good, there's no point as an artist. At least I think. It's not only about the money, it's about having a good time and expressing yourself like the way you want. But lately, I had that really big track that really worked well in South America, which was number 1 on Beatport. So it's just having a hit. Literally, when you have a hit out of nowhere, you have again like a lot of attention and requests, and so we have to refuse, and which is great.
Lanarka.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful track, and it's in the same vein as this new release as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's I don't know how you describe it because it's a little bit progressive, but I'm not a progressive DJ.
You're in the melodic house.
But again, what is melodic house? When you look at it, it's so you make house and there's melody, so it's melodic house. It's just it's weird because it's so techno, melodic techno. What is melodic techno? Is Stefan buzzing melodic techno, or is am I melodic techno? Or it's way too too wide to categorize like a genre. I'd rather, but it doesn't exist. But I'd rather a vibe house, vibe techno.
Vibe house, is that what you would call it?
Yeah, because colorful techno, colorful house, rather than anyway progressive. So progressive to me is just like very long tracks where it's moving slowly to somewhere, and it can be groovy, but most of the time it's a little bit too cold for me. So, and this track was in a progressive house, which I'm not a progressive DJ at all. I have no whatsoever knowledge about progressive house scene, to be honest.
When I looked over all of your releases, it's sort of dancing like tech house, electro, progressive,
been everywhere,
melodic house.
Yeah, been everywhere, but never really progressive. I kind of understand it though more now than before. But still, when you listen to disco and funk, you go to house, I think. And these progressive guys, when they tell me their reference, it's totally not mine. They'd say Pink Floyd or, I don't know, some more trippy stuff that I've never heard before, and nothing groovy, So I think that's why.
So colourful house is your new
it's
genre.
Colourful house, colourful music.
You're going to make up your own genre.
Yeah.
Speak to Beatport, see if they'll put it on, make a genre tag for you.
I'll be number 1 every day. Well, the next release of Lost Miracle is soon, like in end of August, we said. I have a track with Roy, we did together. And he has his, that's his EP, literally that's his EP, has his own track, but we made a track also together.
What's it called?
What's it called?
Yeah.
Cream or crème. We don't know if it's cream or crème, but we go for cream because it's English. You know.
Are we going to be able to play a preview on the podcast or too soon?
Too soon because it's not 100% finished. Yeah, no, it's not because I don't want to, it's because it's definitely not 100% finished. We still argue about kick drum. We're using his kicks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
wow,
I want to use my kick. My kick is so much better, but...
Why don't you layer them? And then that's a real collaboration.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't really work well, so we're gonna find a compromise.
Or you could do alternate.
We're gonna
beats. You get the 2 and the 4, he gets the 1 and the 3.
Different kick. We'll find our way.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So that's the first like non-solo artist release coming out on the label.
Yeah. There will be more, of course. We have a plan of like different artists that I like and we're friends with. More importantly, is like we.
And how often are the releases going to come?
There's no plan. I don't really want to rush. I don't want to spam because the more you release, the more magic you lose. In a way. As an artist or as a label, if it's too frequently, you kind of lost interest for this artist or for this label, at least in my opinion. So just make it like nice and exclusive and really like focusing on good stuff rather than too many stuff.
Quality, not quantity.
But that's what they say, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Have
you
a
very
beautiful
much.
night tonight, and thank you so much for the great new music.
Thank you.
Cheers.
looking around for something else. You always were a step ahead, spinning around so gracefully as the music played.
Beatport Podcast.